I look at myself as a sort of, how can I say, facilitator. Gucci is so much of an iconic brand, as we said, has so much of creativity with Frida, has such a wonderful craftsmanship in all our artisans. So what I felt when I joined the company a couple of years ago we needed to do was simply to stress more all the beautiful wealth that we have already in-house. I thought that the, say, fashion side was pretty much there. The relevance of this brand in the fashion world was pretty much present and known by everyone. But I felt that whatever was already there, but behind the scenes, you know, the craftsmanship, the artisanal knowledge of this company wasn't that much felt, or wasn't felt any longer, or as strong as in the past. So basically, my goal was simply to, my objective was simply to stress this side, or say facilitate the whole process of stressing this through communication and so forth. See, it's such a great fortune to be in a company like Gucci with this kind of history, with this kind of heritage, and with the kind of creativity we have. I didn't have to ask anything of Frida. I simply said, do whatever you feel right for this company now. I always say that creativity has to fly. There's no truly talented creative person who wants to do cheap stuff. Everyone wants to do beautiful things, and I think that we simply stress more this fact. So, as far as myself and my personal challenge, well, my personal most important challenge with a company like Gucci is that it's such a large company that sometimes it's difficult to convey to every single one of our 7,000 and plus employees the message. And the message is fundamentally we have to be absolutely proud of who we are, where we come from, because we have so much to give still, and we are so much good at what we're doing. And you have to make sure that everyone feels this at the same time. I think that sometimes if you look at brands, some brand could be somewhat invincible, and I think that Gucci is one of those brands. If you think of how many lives, how many tragedies, how many different stories this brand has lived, and the fact that this brand is still one of the most important luxury brands in the world, has grown over the years. A few years ago, two very important people of this company left, and the brand was supposed to go, you know, basically disappear in a nanosecond, and that wasn't the case. If you're a brand like Gucci, if you're a brand this iconic, if you're a brand with this kind of history, the only thing you have truly to do is to communicate all this to the consumer throughout any possible ways. And I think that the best communication vehicle we have is the stores. We have more than 60 million people walking into our stores every single year. And if we convey properly the message through our products, and most importantly through our store people, and we actually explain what's behind every product, there's no need of thinking that we need to adapt here and there to this or that market. Talking about China, you know, China is very much diverse as a market. You have much more sophisticated cities like Shanghai, Beijing, and so forth, where definitely consumers are beyond the aspirational phase. Definitely the second, third, fourth tiers cities, and we're talking about cities anyway with a couple of million people as population, are still somewhat in the aspirational phase. But the culture that you find in China, or for it in India or in these countries, is so deeply rooted in the society, and the appreciation of beauty, appreciation of heritage and craftsmanship is so much there that it's just a matter of time that these aspirational consumers move towards a more, say, sophisticated or diluted face. More and more consumers are looking at you as a brand, as a company, are judging you not just in terms of the products, that you offer, or the service that you give, but on how you approach the world, how you approach and what is your position towards the environment, towards the future of our kids. I think that Gucci in that has been definitely a pioneer, at least in this industry, because without anyone asking the company to do it, we started on a number of initiatives many years ago. You know that we are probably the only company of our size that makes everything in Italy. That's relevant, not relevant, but what is relevant to me is that we do everything in Italy, having the whole supply chain, which doesn't mean only our first level of suppliers, but the whole supply chain through the last supplier, which is certified by an external agency. And it means, which could sound banal or obvious, it means that every single moment of the supply chain is respectful of any possible law towards people and towards the environment. Time for myself, time to spend with my dear ones, with my daughter, and time to slow down in whatever you do, because I think that that's the true luxury of whoever lives in nowadays. And but I'll get to my own personal luxury. Sooner or later I will, I had a terrific run and a wonderful experience and a wonderful life in this industry, but sooner or later I retire and I enjoy all my luxuries.